Hey guys, it's Jennifer Party. I am out on my daily walk and back to talk with you some more about Venus, and specifically through the lens of Inanna, because some people asked me to expand some more on Inanna. And Inanna is a Sumerian goddess, and she was the goddess of heaven. And at some point in her story, in her journey, despite being this priestess of heaven, she decides that she needs to descend to the underworld. And that is where her sister, her dark sister, basically the queen of the underworld, or the queen of hell, Ereshkigal, resides. And Inanna knows that this is a very fraught journey, that basically if you go to the underworld, you are not to return. But she wants to return, of course. And so she asks her friend, her helper, Ninshabar, to basically send for help if she hasn't come back after a few days. And then as she is descending to the underworld, she is required to pass through 7 gates. And at each of these 7 gates, she has to remove one of her royal garments, beginning with her crown and ending with her royal robe. And at that point, when she reaches the underworld, she is confronted by her dark sister, who is in grief because her husband has died. And she's basically also like, how dare you come down here, Queen of Heaven? How dare you, just think that you can, just waltz in here and expect it to be treated like royalty, because this is my realm and we're in pain here. We're in grief here. And basically, Ereshkigal gives her, like, if I'm remembering correctly, it's kind of like this evil stare, but it basically kills Inanna, right? And then she hangs her from this meat hook. So the corpse of Inanna is hanging from a meat hook. And Ninshabar, being the wonderful helper that she is, after Inanna has not reappeared for several days, she goes to several gods asking for help. And the first several refuse her. They're basically like, well, that was her dumb fault for going down there. But Enki is a god that has been very connected to Inanna, and he is sympathetic to Ninshabar's plea, and he gives her 2 helpers that are able to just become very small, like flies, and go down into the underworld and rescue Inanna. And in order to do that, they have to moan and wail with Ereshkigal. That Ereshkigal is she is in pain, she is in mourning, but she is also making these sounds as though giving birth at the same time. So every time that she complains that some part of her body hurts, these helpers are to moan with her and affirm her complaints. And through doing this, Ereshkigal is really moved and takes sympathy, and she says, okay, you guys have really listened to me. I will grant you whatever gift. I will grant you the waters of life. I will grant you these vast fields of grain. And the helpers say, no, we don't want any of that. We just want the corpse of Inanna. Or we just want that corpse that's hanging on the wall. And Ereshkigal is like, well, that's Inanna. And they're like, yes, whether it's a king or a queen or whoever it is, that's all we want. We want the corpse. And they bring it back by sprinkling a food of life and water of life on the corpse. And Inanna is revived. Now, when she gets back to the upper world, there is a rule that you can't go back to the upper world without somebody being sent to the underworld. There is still a cost for going back up there. She didn't just get away with it. So actually, Inanna, after several people come up as candidates to be seized and sent to the underworld, she actually, the one that she has seized is Dumuzi, who was her former lover, who was just like in his fine royal garments on the throne, as though nothing had happened, as though he wasn't mourning for Inanna at all. So he's the one that is seized, and he's ripped apart, but manages maybe to escape rather than to go to the underworld. It's a little bit, the story is a little, it wasn't 100% clear to me. He might have escaped, or he might have been sent to the underworld. But either way, there's a justice, and he is no longer sitting on that throne. And at that point, Inanna has become the queen of heaven and earth, because she went to the underworld and she came back. She had to go through this death in order to do it, and she had to have help, in order to do it. But she has gone through a death and rebirth through a confrontation with her dark sister. So this video has already become a bit long, but I can talk more in the future about how those different gates correspond with the Venus cycle. Hope you all have a lovely day. Love you.